The James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's most advanced eye on the universe, was designed to peer into the past, capturing the faint light of galaxies born billions of years ago. But no one expected it to detect something here in our own cosmic neighborhood. For months, Webb had been tasked with studying anomalies connected to 31 Atlas, one of the Atlas observatories that had mysteriously gone offline after sending its infamous final transmission. NASA's official statement was simple, a malfunction. But insiders knew there was more. Atlas hadn't just failed. It had sent a message that hinted at something massive approaching our solar system. So Webb was turned toward the coordinates. Its mirrors, cooled to near absolute zero, scanned the void where Atlas had once been watching. And then something impossible appeared. Not a star, not a planet, not a comet, but light tiny pinpricks of brightness arranged in geometric patterns. They flickered, dimmed, and pulsed, not like natural phenomena, but like artificial beacons. In the darkness of deep space, 31 Atlas had pointed to something alive with light. Asterisk at first. Scientists dismissed it as cosmic rays, random noise, or data corruption. But Webb kept observing. The lights reappeared, always in the same place, always in the same configuration. And as the telescope gathered more data, the pattern became undeniable. The lights weren't random. They were structured and they were moving. The news was buried under layers of classification, but whispers escaped. One engineer leaked to a journalist, "We thought we'd see stars. Instead, we saw a city in the dark." Within NASA, a debate raged. Was this an alien megastructure, a fleet, or some natural object reflecting light in ways we couldn't yet understand? But the most disturbing possibility wasn't that it was alien. It was that the lights were signals. Because as Webb watched, the lights began to blink in rhythm, flashing in sequences eerily similar to binary code. And suddenly, Atlas's final transmission didn't feel like a mystery anymore. It felt like the first message in a conversation. Asterisk, the lights detected by Webb were unlike anything seen before. Unlike stars, they didn't burn with fusion. Unlike comets, they didn't flare with gas. Unlike satellites, they didn't orbit. They existed in a cluster, moving with precision like a formation. NASA scientists began cataloging each flicker. At first, it looked like random strobing. But when computer systems ran it through pattern recognition, the truth was chilling. The lights contained sequences of primes, mathematics, universal language, the same way humanity encoded signals in Voyager's golden record decades ago. Whoever or whatever was behind those lights understood numbers as we do. But the signal went further. After primes came ratios. After ratios came geometric alignments, triangles, squares, spirals, all formed by the positioning of light bursts. It was a mathematical lexicon carved into the darkness. Webb wasn't just seeing a natural object. It was witnessing a deliberate transmission of intelligence. Asterisk governments around the world were briefed. Military satellites quietly turned their sensors toward the same patch of sky, and they confirmed it. The lights weren't a glitch. They were real. But then came the breakthrough that made every heart freeze. When supercomputers processed the sequences, they revealed a map-a-star chart, and at its center, one world was highlighted, not Mars, not Jupiter, not Neptune, but Earth. The lights were sending a message pointing directly back at us. At this point, panic spread inside closed circles. If these lights were artificial, then they weren't just passive. They were active, watching, communicating, choosing us. And then, as Webb observed further, the lights began to change color, cycling from blue to red, from dim to bright, like some kind of countdown. Each cycle shortened, pulsing faster, as if measuring time. Some scientists argued it was a greeting. Others, a warning. But when correlated with Atlas's final transmission, the infamous countdown embedded in its signal, one terrifying conclusion emerged. The lights in Atlas were connected. And the countdown wasn't random. It was pointing to an arrival. Asterisk, as news of Webb's detection leaked to the outside world, humanity entered a state of suspended disbelief. Some dismissed it as a hoax. Others called it the greatest discovery in history. But behind closed doors, The evidence was undeniable: artificial lights in deep space communicating with Earth. The lights grew brighter each day. Astronomers worldwide confirmed them. Amateur stargazers began noticing faint flashes in the same coordinates. For the first time in history, the divide between professional science and public observation vanished. Everyone could see it. And then came the moment no one was prepared for. The lights shifted into a new pattern, no longer numbers, no longer shapes, but symbols that eerily resembled human language. Not exact letters, not English or Chinese or Arabic, but strokes, curves, lines arranged in ways too familiar to dismiss, as if whoever was behind the lights had studied our signals, our broadcasts, our golden record, and now they were answering. NASA convened an emergency summit. Religious leaders, philosophers, linguists, and generals gathered in secret. What do you do when the void suddenly talks back? Do you answer? Do you stay silent? Do you prepare for war? But the truth was simple: it was too late. Because the lights weren't just sending, they were moving. Telescopes tracked their trajectory. Slowly, steadily, the cluster of artificial lights began to shift position, closer toward the solar system, toward us. The countdown embedded in Atlas's final message was aligning perfectly with their projected arrival. When the world finally learned the truth, chaos erupted. Some celebrated, believing first contact was at hand. Others panicked, convinced invasion was imminent. Economies trembled. Governments issued denials, then retractions. The global order shook. And yet, through the fear and chaos, one truth echoed louder than all others. We are not alone, the James Webb, built to glimpse the first galaxies, had instead revealed something far more immediate: neighbors in the dark. Whether they come as friends, teachers, conquerors, or something beyond our understanding, we do not know. But one thing is certain: humanity will never again look at the night sky the same way. Because somewhere out there, the lights of 31 Atlas are still blinking, and they are getting closer.